Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. S. Naeem Banu, Assistant Professor of Political Science, Indira Priyadarshini Government Degree College, Nampalli, Hyderabad. Today I am going to discuss about the powers, functions, and the role of Chief Minister in a state. As everybody knows that the Constitution founding fathers of India have borrowed the concept of parliamentary system from the British Westminster model of system where two executives exist. One is nominal executive, another is real executive. As we have been following federal form of government, which means dual polity is one of the important feature. So in India, the polity exists means the government exists at the central level as well as at the state level. So at the central level, the executives are two types. One is nominal, another is real. So the nominal executive is the President of India, who is the de jure sovereignty of India, but whereas the real executive, that is the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, are the de facto sovereigns. So in the same way, here at the state level also, two executives exist. One is nominal executive, means constitutional head, and another is real head. So at state level, constitutional head is the governor, whereas the CM and the Council of Ministers are the part of real executive at the state level. So in this way, the CM's means the chief minister's position is preeminent in the state governmental system is concerned. In fact, the governor is the state's de jure head, whereas de facto executive authority rests with the CM. So, chief minister is the real executive of the government. Article 164 of Indian Constitution says that the chief minister shall be appointed by the governor. A chief minister is understood to be the first among the equals. I want to say that his position at the state level is equal to that of the position of Prime Minister at the central level, who has been regarded as the captain of the ship. Here, why the Chief Minister is regarded as first among the equals? Why? Because he stands as the first position among the equals, means his team. Here equals is refers to the team which he is having. Team means the Council of Ministers. Why both the CM as well as the Council of Ministers are considered equals? Because these two kinds of designatories have become the part of executive by following the same means. Same means by getting elected by the people, either directly from the house of means assembly, means legislative assembly, or from the house of what I want to say, the representatives of legislative councils. So in this way, that is the reason why CM is regarded as the first among the equals. He acted as, he or she would be the chief advisor to the nominal head of the state. Means the CM acts as the chief advisor to the governor of the state. And he also acts as the chairperson, means chairman of the cabinet and leader of the main governing political party in the legislature. So I want to say one thing here, that after the abolition of Article 370 from Indian Constitution, now we are having 28 states. Every state is having one CM. That is what Article 164 of Indian Constitution says. So every state is having one chief minister. Whether only the states are having chief ministers or whether it is apply for the union territories also, let us examine. So as I have now only told that after the abolition of 370 article from Indian Constitution, the number of the states have been reduced from 29 to 28. So now means the status of a state has abolished to Jammu and Kashmir. So now we are having only 28 states, and every state is having its CM. And whereas the number of union territories have been increased earlier from 7 to 9, like Dadar and Nagar Haveli, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, okay, Pondicherry, Delhi. So, in addition to these, two more union territories have been added. One is Jammu and Kashmir, another is Ladakh. So now we are having 9 union territories. Among all these 9 union territories, only 3 union territories like Delhi, Pondicherry and Jammu and Kashmir are having the CM. So in total 31 provinces in India, both in form of as states as well as union territories, are having CMs, and the remaining and the rest are, everybody knows, uh, means union territories are having lieutenant governors so as to look after the administration of the union territory. However, these 3 union territories, Delhi, Pondicherry, Jammu and Kashmir, are having bicameral legislature. Means it is having assembly as well as the council of councils. So in this way, in India, according to Article 164, every state is having one chief minister. Coming to know the appointment, which is very important to know, and that is the reason why CM has been regarded as first among the equals. Our constitution, basically I want to say that our constitution doesn't specifically mention about the qualification to be appointed as the CM, okay, but Article 164 of the constitution envisages that CM means chief minister shall be appointed by the governor. However, this doesn't imply that the governor is free to appoint anyone as the CM of the either the state or the union territories, particularly Delhi, Pondicherry, Puducherry and Jammu and Kashmir. The qualifications which are necessary for the CM is not specifically mentioned in the constitution, but a candidate to become either the CM or Council of Ministers means the legislature, as basically India has been following parliamentary system where there is a need that the executive, means I have already told you that CM and Council of Ministers are regarded as the real executive, whereas the governor has been regarded as a nominal executive. So if anybody who wants to become the part of real executive, they should um, elect in two processes. One is they have to elect directly by the people in every 5 years general elections if they are coming from the lower house, that is called legislative assembly. So here also the same thing apply for the CM. So CM are the council of ministers at first stage have been elected by the people directly in the general elections. So after the elections, the governor, what the 164 article says, the governor is not free to appoint anyone as the CM of the state or union territory unless emergency will arise. So here, whoever got the majority votes after the elections, all the members of the majority party will sit at one place and elect their leader and declare him as the majority party leader. And the governor at this time has to invite this majority party leader so as to become the CM. So in this way, the governor is not free to appoint any person as a CM. So what I am trying to say, but at certain occasions, the governor can use his discretionary powers, where whenever the uh, ruling party, means majority party, fails to elect its, what I want to say, its majority leader within the prescribed time, then only the governor will use his discretionary power so as to appoint any person or invite any member of the majority party as the CM. So, except this kind of situation arise, the governor is not free to appoint anyone, and he just has to call upon a person who has elected directly by the people in general elections, and who has been elected as the majority party leader. One more thing which I want to say, that the CM candidate can be either from the House of People, that is the Legislative Assembly, or from the House of Council, that is that represents different categories of people, means Vidhana Parishad. So he may be the member of either house of the parliament. The condition is that even one more thing which I want to say, that a person who has not been elected either to the lower house or to the upper house of the state legislature can also become the CM of the particular state, but the condition is that within the 6 months period he should be elected either house of the legislature. So these are the conditions which are required to become the chief minister of a state, which are applied to the prime minister also. Coming to know very important aspect of CM, that is powers and functions. CM has chief minister has enormous powers and vast responsibilities. Let me start with the first one, that is to aid and advise the governor. As everybody knows that the governor in India is the head of the constitution, whereas the CM has been regarded as the head of the government. So in the same way as the governor, who is responsible to appoint the CM, means the real executive, CM and council of ministers, and according to the constitution, article 164 says that there shall be a council of ministers with CM, means chief minister, at its hand to aid and advise the governor. So the main function of the chief minister of a state is to aid and advise the governor. All the powers and functions which have been described in the constitution as the part of the governor to be performed under the head of executive functions are in reality have to be performed or exercised by the CM and council of ministers. This is very important function to be performed by the chief minister. Chief minister also acts as the link between the cabinet and the governor. It is he or she who communicates to the governor all the decisions of the cabinet. He has furnished such information relating to the administration of the state as the governor may call for. So this is also another important function which is related to the governor. According to this, governor may call upon any information which is related to different administrative sections of the government. Then chief minister has to communicate all the necessary information which have been required, questioned by the governor. The governor can submit to the consideration of the council of ministers any matter on which the decision has been taken by a minister, but which has not been considered by the council of ministers. So this is very important, what I want to say, the functions which has been performed by the chief minister. The governor appoints a large number of top officials, as we know, of the state. So all these top officials have been appointed by the governor in the name only, but in reality these appointments have been done by the chief minister of the state. So whenever the governor is going to summon or prorogue the sessions of the state legislature, all such powers are exercised by the governor on the advice of the chief minister only. So in this way, chief minister has no right to give advice to the governor in relation to the function which he exercises in his discretion. Means what I am trying to say, that the chief minister cannot give his advice to the governor where the governor exercises his discretionary powers, except that all the matters either relating to the appointment of the top officials in the states like UPSC members, State Public Service Commission members, advocate generals, even the appointments regarding to the judiciary, in the states other than the state high courts. Okay, all these appointments have been done by the chief ministers except the discretionary powers of the governor. So this is what related to the governor. Coming to know the other functions of the chief minister as the head of the council of ministers. So once the election to the legislature assembly within the state is over, the task of forming the government begins, and the whole responsibility of forming the government rests on the shoulders of the CM only. So the party with majority definitely in the legislative assembly is entitled to form the government, but the whole task of forming the government is lie on the CM. So it is upon his recommendations only that the ministers have been appointed by the governor. As the head of the state cabinet or state council of ministers, the chief minister enjoys certain powers. He was responsible for the formation of ministry. He can remove the ministers also, and the chief minister presides over the meetings of the cabinet, and he coordinates the working of various departments of the. Let us discuss these functions of CM as the head of the council of ministers one by one. Formation of the ministry. Um, the first task of the CM starts with the formation of the ministry. The other ministries means either the deputy ministers or the council of ministers or cabinet ministers, whatever it may be, generally appointed by the governor on the advice of CM. It means it is the responsibility of the CM that he has to distribute the portfolios to the ministers. The CM has a free hand in preparing the list of his colleagues. The governor may suggest the names of the person to be included in the ministry, but he cannot insist upon any person to be included in the ministry. The total, what I want to say, the headache of distributing the portfolios have been rested with the chief minister of the state. Assigning the department or portfolios to the ministers is done by the governor on the advice of CM. So all these tasks of formation of ministry definitely rest with the chief minister. Chief minister advises the governor to appoint any person as a minister. It is only according to the advice of him, means chief minister, the governor appoints the ministers. Next, the allocation and reshuffling of the portfolios also among the ministers have been done by the chief minister. First, he is responsible for allocating the ministries to the to his team, and again he was responsible for reshuffling the portfolios if they are not performing their functions well. In case of differences of opinion arises, okay, then the CM means chief minister can ask the minister to resign. This is what happen every time. So if a differences that arise, then he can ask the resignation of his ministers. He directs, guides and controls the activities of the ministers. So it is his responsibility that he directs the ministers, guides them and controls the activities so as to implement the concept of checks and balances. If the chief minister resign, then the full cabinet means council of minister has to resign. So in this way, CM plays an important role in the formation of ministry at one side. Formation of ministry means formation of the government. Why? Because here, though government is having three important organs, legislature, executive, judiciary, but the elections generally be held for in a system like parliamentary form of government for member of legislature assemblies, MLAs, definitely, but in reality it is regarded as the elections of the CM. So in this way the chief minister is responsible for either formation of the ministry or for the destruction of the ministry also. Both the positive and negative sides of the ministry rest with the CM. Removal of the ministers. The chief minister played an important role in removing the ministers if they are not performing their works well. The ministers hold the office according to the constitution during the pleasure of the governor, but in reality, they can hold the office during the pleasure of the CM. This is, however, doesn't mean that the governor can dismiss his ministers at his will. The governor is in fact dependent on the CM for taking the decision of removing the ministers. So therefore, the CM can reconstruct his ministry as and when he likes. He may ask any of his colleagues to resign. If he declines, he will be dismissed by the governor. So in this way, all the ministers, it is the responsibility of the CM so as to maintain the discipline, so as to guide them, so as to control them, so as to give an efficient administration in the state. CM also acts as the presides the meetings of the cabinet. So, as the chairman of the cabinet, it is the CM who has the position which enables him to impose his decision. It is he who controls the agenda for the cabinet meetings, means who decides the agenda of the meeting, and he presides over the cabinet meetings. It is for the chief minister to accept or reject the proposals for the cabinet discussions. When it is the coalition government, it becomes difficult to safeguard the principle of collective responsibility, but as much as the time and energy of the CM is concerned, he will in that case be wasted on keeping his team united and sufficiently disciplined. So in this way, it is the CM at the state level, like that of Prime Minister at the central level, who is having the responsibility of presiding over the meetings of cabinet at the union level. In the same way, at the state level, it is the chief minister who is going to preside the meeting, means who decides the agenda of the meetings of the cabinet. So in this way, chief minister acts as the head of the cabinet, in fact the chairman of the cabinet. He also takes the responsibility of coordinating the working of various departments. As everybody knows, that executive consists of several departments, and it is his responsibility as the first among the equals, one among the equals, coordinates the working of different ministries or departments, as a part of which the chief minister supervises and coordinates the policies of several ministries and other departments. Several ministries are involved in the formulation and implementation of the policy. The chief minister must bring these activities into reasonable relationship with one another. In matters of public order, roads, bridges, agriculture, land revenue, production, supply, distribution of goods, the chief minister plays a special role, means specific role in directing the policies of the government. So, as the head of the council of ministers, means as the chief means main, who play an important role in the executive performance, coordinates the working of various departments, and should have the first-hand information regarding the performance of different departments. Why? Because if in the legislature the opposition party or the other than the ruling party members are going to ask the question to the different ministers, if they are not going to answer, then the CM has to answer it. Otherwise, the ministry will fall down. So in this way, the chief minister of a state performs very important function. In fact, the key function of coordinating the working of different departments or ministries of a state. CM also acts as the link between the governor and the state council of ministers. Article 167 of Indian Constitution says that CM's functions with as a what I want to say, as a link between the governor and the state with respect to the governor as follows. CM has to communicate to the governor all the decisions of the council of ministers relating to the administration of the state. So it is the responsibility of the CM that he has to inform whatever that is happening in the administration to that of governor, whenever the governor may ask for. Secondly, whenever the governor calls for any information relating to the decisions taken or regarding the administration, the CM has to provide that information to him regarding the what I want to say, the developments, improvements, implementation of the policies in the state. Next, the governor can ask for the reconsideration of the Council of Ministers when a decision has been taken without the consideration of the cabinet. So, what I am trying to say, as the head of the constitution, the governor may ask the consideration of the Council of Ministers. So, at that time, CM has to respond positively. Sometimes CM advises the governor regarding the appointments of important officials, like which I have already told you: State Election Commissioner, Chairman and members, Attorney General, Advocate General, State Public Service Commission Chairman and members. So in this way, Chief Minister acts as the link between the governor and Council of Ministers. Here, why the CM should inform all the information whenever the governor requires from him is due to the fact that in India, okay, along with the principle of collective responsibility, individual responsibility is also lies. Collective responsibility means it is one of the important principle of parliamentary form of government where the CM and Council of Chief Minister and Council of Ministers are responsible collectively before the House of the People. If they are not responsible, they are going to get a threat from the House when under the procedure of no confidence motion. Sometimes the government machinery will fall down. So this is what called collective responsibility. But one more feature of parliamentary system is implementing in India is that all the CM and the Council of Ministers are individually responsible to the governor. Why? Because governor is the head of the constitution. So here it is the responsibility of the CM at one side and his Council of Ministers at another side. They have to be individually responsible to them. Why? Because it is the governor, according to the Indian Constitution of Article 164, that the CM and his Council of Ministers have to be appointed by the governor. So as the governor who is going to appoint the CM and Council of Ministers, and that is the reason why at any time whenever the governor calls for any information related to any decision or any aspect of the administration, then the Chief Minister and Council of Ministers have to provide the same to the governor. So in this way the CM acts as the link between the governor and state Council of Ministers, and whatever the directions that the governor has been given to the Council of Ministers, it is the CM who has to inform the Council of Ministers. So in this way he acts as the link between the governor at one side, who is going to inform whatever the happenings in the different departments to the governor, and at the same time informing the Council of Ministers, means his team, regarding the directions given by the governor. So next, after knowing the role of Chief Minister as a link between Governor and Council of Ministers, now we have to look after the role of Chief Minister with respect to the state legislature. Though legislature is another peculiar organ of the government which is meant to legislate, means which is meant to make the laws, but here as far as the executive, in fact the real executive of the state level, that is CM, also play an important role in state legislatures. Let us discuss what are they. All the policies, programs which are announced by the Chief Minister on the floor of the House itself. So it is the responsibility of the Chief Minister so as to announce the policies and the programs which he is going to carry out, or he along with his Council of Ministers are going to give the shape of an act in the House. So it is his responsibility that he has to announce them on the floor of the House. Next, the chief minister recommends the dissolution of the legislative assembly to the governor. So whenever the constitutional machinery has been break down, or whenever there is a threat to the government, means to the ministry, to the ruling party, because of the lack of what I want to say, the majority, then the chief minister recommends the governor for the dissolution of the legislative assembly. So in this way, the governor can dissolve the lower house, that is legislative assembly, only on the recommendations of the chief minister. Next, he advises the governor regarding the summoning, proroguing the sessions of the state legislative assembly from time to time. So, generally we came to know that it is the governor who is having the power to prorogue, means stop the sessions, or summon, or calling of the sessions of the legislative assembly or council. But it is the chief ministers who played an important role in giving the advices to the governor regarding what I want to say, the summoning and proroguing of the sessions of the state legislature assembly from time to time. So these are the powers and functions of the chief minister as far as the state legislature is concerned. Another important function which is related to the state legislature only, but here I am discussing it as separate. Why? Because it is having very much important. Chief Minister also acts as the leader of the House, particularly the House of People, that is Legislative Assembly. So the Chief Minister is the leader of the State Legislative Assembly. All principles, announcements of the policy are made by him only. As the leader of the House, it is his responsibility that he has to announce the policies made by him or his team. The chief minister intervenes in the debates of the general importance also. He can intervene the debates that has been going on in the state legislatures. He can appease an angry house by promising immediate relief or concerns whenever needed. So, as the leader of the house, it is the sole and whole responsibility of the chief minister that he has to answer all the questions posed by the either by the means the opposition party or the non-ruling party members. Okay, if they are going to ask the questions to the concerned ministers, if the concerned ministers are not going to answer, then it is the responsibility of the CM who has to answer it as the leader of the house. It is his responsibility that he has to clarify the doubts, explain the policies, okay, and elaborate the program advantages and disadvantages before the floor. So whenever the CM fails to answer the questions asked by the opposition party other than the ruling party members, then he has to resign. When the CM is going to resign, automatically the Council of Ministers, means his team is going to resign. So in this way, the total responsibility of the ministry, means of the government, rests on the shoulders of the chief minister. Coming to know the other functions which the chief minister of a state generally performs. At the ground level, the chief minister is the authority to be in contact with the people regularly and know about their problems so as to bring about the policies on the floor of the assembly. So, the total responsibility of having contact with the people rests on the chief minister so as to make the policies what I want is effective implementation. He or she also acts as the chairman of the State Planning Commission. Okay, so in this way, the CM plays an important role in planning for the economic development of the state. And the chief minister also acts as the vice chairman of concerned zonal council in rotation for a period of 1 year. So in this way, he also take upon the responsibility of the zonal councils. During emergencies, the CM acts as the crisis manager in the state. So we generally used to think that during emergencies, either Article 352, national emergency, or 356, The state emergency means the president's rule, imposition of president's rule, or financial emergency, whatever it may be, the role of the CM is not finished. In fact, he acts as a crisis manager in the state, and thus he played a pivotal role during emergencies. Okay. Uh, in this way, we can say that from above explanation, it can be concluded that the CM of a state has a wide range of functions. In fact, he is the leader of the MLAs elected by the general public of the state. So, in this way, the leader, he acts as the, what I want to say, um, as the main pillar of the government at the state level. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity to talk about the powers and functions of the